Didn't expect me to just appear as a mountain now, did you? Well, I kind of lost my body for a bit. They're kind of making renovations around my good old little house. So yeah. In the meantime, I've been catching up on stuff like anime. For instance, watching Dragon Ball Z finally after being pretty much completely absent-minded about it, and also playing Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade. I don't have a gambling addiction. I just want to complete a collection. Now, anyways, time to get to the subject of this video. So while I was on the coach home, because that's my good old getting from college to home method, I thought about something. Ooh, there's a lot of similarities between those two. Oh, if I made a video about that, that could be a good net of views. And I could finally get that thing off my back. Yes, I'm talking about you. Get the fuck on out of here already. Go on, shoo. I swear to fucking God, get out! Eldritch Kings, am I right? Anyways, so the thing that I was thinking about it was the similarities between Mahito and Shigaraki. They are both antagonists that reflect the protagonist ideals. One touch and you're just done for. You're dead. It's just different means. And also, technically, Mahito's transfiguration isn't killing, it's just making you really, really ugly. But, and also saying good detergent for some reason. Did they ever explain why some of the transfigured humans just go saying random stuff like good detergent constantly? Like, I know they said they were like fucked in the brain or something, but is there something about that? Anyways, they both have similar creep vibes and blue hair. So that made me think, what if Mahito was an MHA? And furthermore, what if more were an MHA? Don't worry, you'll get your own video soon. Don't worry, as long as this actually nets me any views. I mean, I'm not gonna spend ages working on a video if it's just gonna get me like very, very minimal returns. Anyways, off that point, let's go into the first character of this video, Jogo. So starting off, I'll have to mention this, that they were a childhood friend of the other two. And of course, they all had their little quirks. As with his quirk being core blood. Every fluid in his body, from sweat, saliva, and blood, I swapped those two around, but anyways, is instead stone heated to molten temperatures, practically turning him into a living volcano. However, that little volcano head, yeah, he didn't have that initially. He looked normal. Most apart from the fact that he had like volcanic skin and also his eyes and mouth glowed. So, from all that, pressure built up in his body progressively, and usually it just kind of come out naturally if he opened his mouth a lot or whatever. But, however, the pressure building up in his very blood provided a bit of an issue. So they had to do a bit of a surgery on his head to prevent his brain from exploding, which also allowed them to go through the process of opening up the blood veins around that area to hopefully lessen the pressure in his body generally. However, this caused a bit of an issue, as through complications, his ears pretty much just went and gone entirely, and he lost an eye. However, due to the power of the volcanic rock adapting, oh my god, it's a Maharaga. Shut up. Anyways, from all that, and he became a Cyclops because of the stone moving his one eye to be central. and it sort of tried to make his eardrums, but however, steam magma caused him to be partially deaf, and his eyes, well, not eyes, eye, to be nearsighted with no sense of depth perception, which really came to bite him in the future. Anyways, as he grew up, he looked up to Endeavor. Because, both fiery quirks. And, number two, respectable. I mean, it's more than respectable. It's. Oh, but. People keep glazing All Might, so. But, anyways, he was given the similar treatment that heteromorphs do. At least I'm pretty sure that's how it's said. Hold on, I need to check. Yep. Heteromorph. And, well, the heteromorphism that came with that. And all that boiled in him. Until somebody came along. Want penis enlargement pills? Yes! So I wanted to go see Jiraki, I'm pretty sure that's, or Garaki, or however it's pronounced, and I can't be bothered to go searching it up. And he left him with that good old Dr. Nerd Man himself. One surgery later. Yeah, a mechanized volcano. And with all that, he still had a lot of rage built up in him. And now, onto another thing which will become a regular throughout this video, the ideals and role, in which we learn how their brain works and also how they function in the story. So in terms of ideals, pretty much any quirk that can do damage is automatically doomed to not really be capable of heroism to the same extent that others can. At least quirks solely focused on doing damage. Which they don't really have any positive benefit. And so, he'll force it into society. As well, there's nothing more he wants to be than just be a good hero. Oh, the irony. And in terms of his role in the story, upon seeing far more similarities, at least in terms of quirk, to Bakugo, he vows himself to prove that he could beat him and show that his power was capable of being a hero if Bakugo's quirk would make him a hero. Additionally, just repaired the smidge of a shattered self-image. And that's one of three. Going on to Hanami, they were also a good old childhood friend, with the quirk of nature's wildfire. They have the ability to control the growth of any plant they have touched, even remotely. However, they cannot aim its growth or what the plants do if they aren't actively holding it. Just simply letting the plants grow to extents they wouldn't normally be able to without any real aim. They could, in theory, conquer whole buildings and city blocks as long as they had the sea pods and whatnot to do it. And growing up, they didn't have really much dreams about being a hero or anything. In fact, they were more focused on gardening. And also, fun little fact, they got into a relationship with Kamui Woods. Oh my god, the character that's you can make your morning wood jokes now. And even got married. Yippee! However, quickly that fell apart. And Hanami was left alone. Penis. So they went to Jiraki, and Well, I just realized the place at that. Oh god. Oh, that's probably a very, very bad placement. Oh, why the PNG have to make it look like that? Oh, anyways, going forward, or he left them alone. One surgery later, and boom. And also, if you're wondering why I made the character more or feminine instead of the good old muscle, might I point out MHA's female character designs? And also, this is not my tier list, this is just the best way I could think of compiling everyone together. Yeah, you can start to see the explanation of that. Anyways, the little thing that he did was implant a rose into their arm that would pretty much act like a big old buff to them. And after hearing some good old complaining from them when they were going all venting about their life and whatnot, he recognized the name and, well, the name of a certain person they mentioned, and pointed them in the direction of Jogo. Eventually, he, Hanami tearing off that good old arm and cloth. Although, I just realized if you look behind, the asset of the cloth one is still there. I can't be bothered to go back and re-record just over that. And they formed a little villain duo. One aware and one not so aware. Or just simply believing that he's just making a statement. Anyways, onto the ideals and roles thing. No matter the quirk, any quirk can be used to cause harm. Quirks inherently exist to prolong the most common thing across nature: war. They act as the funnel to. I don't understand why I had to sound like I was vomiting. And later, or due to their beliefs about love, something Hanami considers a dead concept. They also act as a support for the trio, making tunnels for travel, and pretty much turning the entirety of the woods near their little base into Vietnam. Fuck, it fell off. Luckily, that should stop soon, because I'll be getting a new microphone soon as well. With an arm. Anyways, that's 2 down. Now on to the final man himself that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Mahito. Oh, and again, childhood friend. But unlike the other two, he was actually successful in becoming a hero, with the quirk DNA manipulation. Upon making contact, he can alter the biology of any living being he touches. However, this wasn't initially inherently malicious. Blech, word jargon. Anyways, he believed that it could be used as a support, slowly strengthening somebody up at a safe level, because if he uses it too fast, you end up getting the transfigured humans that we see usually. JJK. Or healing wounds lightning quick. It works. However, such things would change quickly in his first ever hero outing against a generic villain. I don't really care who this guy is. Canonically, I just looked on the wiki for a list of characters and I just pulled a few. Who, alongside Pro Hero Gunhead. But however, something needed more attention, involving somebody who was literally about to die, so he had to temporarily leave, and the other two kind of got packed up. And these are just generic heroes I found on the wiki as well. They're not meant to represent the characters that are there. And so, being the only person left, he had to do something, and yeah. However, naturally, instead of being praised and whatnot about saving them, they saw a transfigured human and went, "Oh my god, what the fuck did you do, you monster?" And thought he went mad and tried to subdue him. Naturally, that didn't go too well. And then somebody came along, although not actually. Yeah, you don't need to be here. You can leave. He was already evil from the get-go here. And after a good old costume change, he fully established himself as a villain, doing villainous things like not walking grandmas across the street. Ooh, ah! And eventually he saw on the news about the latest villain trio. Well, not trio, the duo. That were causing rampages across all over. And so, through certain methods, he eventually found them. Pulling off L from Death Note moves. Anyways, onto the ideals and role thing. Every human is genetically predisposed to either be a hero or villain. He just turned out to be a villain by nature. The two sides are one the same. Heroes fight the villains, villains fight the heroes. He is them, they are him. Iconic line from before he kicked the bucket. And he acts as the primary antagonist of the arc their crew is in. And to oppose against Deku and most heroes' viewpoints, even convincing the other in time, Jogo during the arc itself, and Hanami before, that they were the true villains. And that the League of Villains were just an inferior iteration of them, going as far to pit Hanami's heartbroken self against the lovey-dovey Toga. Yeah, hence why I had to. Yeah, you can see why I had to redact them earlier, because I need to bring this guy up to make sense. And together they form the Disaster Villains. And they did villain stuff. A thumbnail. Oh my god. Oh. So yeah, during this arc, it turns out that you know, that's gonna be irregular now. Anytime I slip up, I just go. Okay, so in this arc, the heroes are actually chasing down the villains instead of, the other way around. And because the disaster villains are disaster villains have a plan. A plan that involves nuclear bombs. Legalized nuclear bombs. Which comes in multiple stages. Hanami ends up pretty much filling these bombs with chemicals and plants and rockets made by Jogo and his good old molten abilities. And those plants are infused with the transfiguration abilities. And they plan to explode these over the city of Tokyo to pretty much cause a Tokyo-wide Shibuya incident. And also because of the fact that, well, these guys aren't really with the League of Villains, and also is pretty much they're trying to steal their thunder. And the villains are also kind of here. And also some pro heroes. Hanami ends up getting stuck by growing it too much and end up pretty much ensnaring themselves without being able to actually grab any plants and subvert the changes. Another trio ends up managing to pretty much cause Jogo to, I'm blanking out on the word here, burn out himself, If you're wondering why Dobby isn't just immediately going against Endeavor and going for his throat, which is because he's planning to just simply bide his time, mainly for the perfect moment during the forgot the fucking name of the arc. The Jaku Hospital raid arc. And whatnot. And meanwhile, Mahito is being dealt by both the protagonist Deku and the antagonist is Shigaraki. And by one unfortunately placed punch that was angled in just the wrong way, ends up getting thrown against Shigaraki, who, well, dead. The League of Villains ends up letting the other or two remaining disaster villains go into custody, while they just dip. Also, the old version of the extinguished asset, I forgot to change that out. I did. So, anyways, they end up finding the bombs, which weren't even complete in the end. And the two villains are sent into good old Tartarus. First, Deku probably says something about how things could have been different if maybe he was shown a different way the world works. You know, friendship is magic stuff, and in the event you're wondering about the placement of everything in the timeline, the Disaster Villains arc happens before the Shi Saikai arc. Anyways, that is all from me. This took 138 slides. I've been Robert, your host. Stay classy. See you another time.